Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DSHP and Pharmacy podcast, where we showcase our members' pharmacy journeys and hopefully encourage you to join and become involved in your local pharmacy chapters. Today, I have with me two DSHP OGs, Judy Lee and Barbara Wineka. I'm so happy to have you, and I look forward to your pearls of wisdom today. Because, like I said, you guys are OGs. You've been with DSHP forever, and I know you're gonna have some great stuff to share with us. So I would like to start by welcoming you guys. Welcome, Barbara. Welcome, Judy. Thank you for taking time out of your nice Saturday to share this little 30 minutes with us.
Oh, you're welcome, Bridget.
Hi, Barbara.
Thanks, Brigitte.
I couldn't think of doing you guys separately because every time I see you guys together at conferences or at the meetings, you guys have this chemistry, you have this friendship, this partnership that just comes and shines across. So I really wanted to do the two of you together so we can have a great conversation. And let me start by asking you, my first question is, let's go way back. Why did you decide to become pharmacist, and how has that journey been for you to your journey now at DSHP? And let's start with Judy. You go first.
Okay. So thank you again, Bridget, for asking us to be your first two podcast persons. And so my journey started way back when, like 40 plus years, in which I was in high school and my father says, I think I know a good profession for you. And I said, okay. So my father decided that as a female, that going and having a pharmacy degree would be giving me the flexibility of having a family and also having a part-time to full-time job income as needed. Plus, at that time, there was a shortage of females in pharmacy school.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
why I got started.
Okay. And you fit right in and got started. What school did you go to, and how did you get to DSHP?
Okay, so my school was University of Pacific in Stockton, and it was like 90 minutes from home, which was Sacramento. So it was very convenient for my father to drive me to and from
Okay.
school.
Okay.
And what made me get started at DSHP? Well, 2 kids later, volunteering at the school, I had kind of like the empty nest syndrome when they became more independent. So then I said, why not volunteer at the local pharmacy chapter, which happened to be the Diablo chapter.
All right. And you've been there ever since.
Yes, and they keep pulling us back in, Barbara and I, together.
Like I did today. Barbara, how about you? Why did you decide to become a pharmacist?
It's kind of convoluted. Well, I wanted actually to go to Harvey Mudd College. I was a National Merit Scholar, and I used to win math contests, and I was a total dweeb. And my nickname was the Bookworm.
Ooh,
So,
nerd.
but I didn't have enough money to go to Harvey Mudd. So, anyway, I turned them down and I went to UC Davis.
Okay.
And entered in the School of Engineering as a chemical engineering major.
Okay. Okay.
And I flunked out in about 2 quarters.
Okay. So where does pharmacy come in?
And so I didn't know what to do because I was totally math and science.
Okay.
And it was my roommate's auntie who was on faculty at UCSF that said, well, hey, you've covered all the bases now. you would be a good candidate for pharmacy school because you need the math and chemistry and physics. And so I applied and I got in.
So you went to UCSF School of Pharmacy.
Yeah, because I didn't know any other school to apply to.
Gotcha. So how do you end up with DSHP?
Well, that's more convoluted. Part of my contract with the VA is that, after giving me a $250,000 education, my payback was they owned my butt Army style for 6 years after graduation. And I had my choice of a lot of really nice jobs. And the one I selected was to work for Washington, D.C., and I was in charge of all the VA pharmacies from North Dakota to Kentucky, so 43 VAs. So I did that for 3 years, and right before I left town, I started dating this dentist at the VA, and we stayed together for 3 years while I was out there, and we got engaged, and then we got pregnant, and then I wanted to come home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when we moved to Northern Cal, my boss was Phil Drum, who at the time was president-elect of the Diablo chapter.
Okay.
So and my pharmacy resident was the president after that, eventually president of both the DSHP and the Contra Costa Pharmacists Association.
Okay.
The year after she finished my residency, and for both chapters simultaneously.
Okay.
She was a superwoman.
Wow.
So between those two folks, actually, Teresa gave me an ultimatum. Okay, I'm president of both. You choose, and you're going to be on my board. And so I'm going, oh, what an offer.
So you chose.
So I looked at
DSHP.
both organizations, and Contra Costa wasn't doing anything. And the DSHP was having about, what, one dinner program per month. But anyway, at least they were doing stuff, and they had meetings and blah, blah.
Okay.
So I joined DSHP, and then I retired several years later in 1998 after a 30-year career in the VA, so it was time. And that year, the president that had been voted in during the recently completed election was taken out of office by CSHP because she was a technician and not a pharmacist. So this is in third week in November now, right before Thanksgiving. We had no president to start on January 1.
Okay.
And so my good friends on the board, I was already the secretary of DSHP at that time.
Okay.
And had been membership chair for several years by that time. Decided, well, hell, she's retired. She's got nothing better to do. So I became DSHP president.
Okay.
Secretary.
Okay.
Judy was the newsletter chair, but I actually wrote 10 of them. And anyway, it was like, oh, something needs doing. Barbara has time. So that's how I ended up also chair of NAUI.
Okay.
So Barbara has held all the offices except what, Barbara?
Treasurer.
Yep. So
I spend money, so I can't be treasurer.
Right. So I didn't hold as many offices as Barbara did, but I first started with the CE program, was the chair of that. I was that once a month person. But in those days, Barbara, we were able to get accreditation because accreditation wasn't as restrictive as it is now. So all the dinner programs we had was CE based and CE accredited. So
Okay.
after I became president-elect, I also became president, then past president. So basically, I served 3 years, 3 consecutive years. And then after that, I took some time and I became the delegate, still being involved, but more in the regulations, the laws, and whatnot, and
Right.
represented DSHP in our chapter at CSHP seminars every year.
Mhm.
Also helping with DSHP, I helped with the diabetes clinic that Barbara was very instrumental with. Wherever Barbara goes, I go. So I also helped her with NOWI. You know, I didn't do as much legwork with the Night Out with Industry, which is what NOWI stands for. But
Yeah.
I was there when Barbara needed my help, be it whatever she needed.
Okay.
And then we were given the opportunity to help CSHP, the Diablo chapter, in conjunction with the Golden Gate chapter, to host seminar in San Francisco. So that was our first year of seminar involvement. The two of us, again, whatever I say, Barbara does also. And then whatever Barbara says, I do also too. So it's like a tag team event between the two of us to keep us, it's a yin and yang, okay? The good and the
That's why
bad.
I had to have the both of you together today. It couldn't,
So
it
so
couldn't be otherwise.
so so San Francisco was our first endeavor for the seminar committee. We were
Mhm.
just, respective. Barbara was the secretary of the seminar committee. I was hospitality. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then 4 years later, they decided to have it back in San Francisco again. Well, Barbara and I said, let's step it up. We became co-chair of seminar. Diablo running the seminar with Barbara and I leading the way.
Co-chair of the planning committee the whole
Of
time.
the planning committee. And
Impressive.
our crew was basically 1 or 2 people in each of the different area. It's now gone to 30 plus,
Yeah.
okay?
I
Because
noticed. Yeah.
what we did in our days, which was what, 10, 12 years ago, they have to require,
It was 2010 first time, 2015 for the second time.
right. So basically about 10 years ago, they need triple amount of people to volunteer to get what we're doing, what we got done with half that amount.
Wow.
So
Things
with,
have
ever
with
since
changed.
then,
about a dozen people.
Things
yeah,
have changed. So both
things
of you
have
have
changed.
held, things have changed a lot. Both of you have held board positions. You've sat on several committees, DSHP committees, as well as CSHP committees. And the two most favorite ones, I can tell those are your favorite one, was bringing seminar to San Francisco. And that's a lot of time and involvement that you've given back to the Diablo chapter and the California Society of Health System Pharmacy. What would you say this involvement has brought to you guys, both professionally and personally?
Go
Like,
ahead, Barbara. I'll
what
let
have
you
you
have
gained
5
for it?
minutes first.
5 minutes, Barbara.
Oh, okay. What has really been very fulfilling is working with both organizations, mostly on membership development. So during the year I was president and the 2 or 3 years following, I tripled DSHP membership because I I used all of my contacts through the country to draw top level support from the companies to budget CE dinners for our members.
Okay. Okay.
And it turned out that other chapters were getting pissed at me because they accused me of poaching their members because we had 2 to 3 programs per week.
Wow.
My top was
Up tripled.
135 in 1 year, and that blew out everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's still blowing out everybody else to this day.
Yeah, yeah. And it also resulted in my being CSHP membership chair for 3 years running. They I kept trying to leave and they said no. So and that has been really, really fulfilling because
Yeah.
DSHP and CSHP are doing a lot of hard work to advance the
Yes.
perception of our profession. It's something that I've worked to develop everywhere I've gone.
Mhm.
And this is where you get the most bang for your buck. So
Great. Okay. Okay.
that's why I've been doing this for how many years now, and
Yeah. Okay.
I will probably continue until I drop dead.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. You hit it right on the nail because these two organizations, well, DSHP being the chapter of CSHP, has done so much to advance our profession from 30 years ago to now. Pharmacists can now give immunizations, provide PrEP and PEP, so much more that we're doing now, and it's all because of the work that CSHP has and ASHP as well has done for us. So what I'm hearing is that what your involvement has given back to you is just the fact that you're part of it, increasing the membership and moving their agenda forward, right? The CSHP agenda forward. How about you, Judy?
So, similar to Barbara, but more, I like the opportunity to network
Ooh,
and also making new connections and
yeah,
maybe even some reunions of former classmates.
yeah,
And that has really become that, and then new friendships or new connections, especially industry,
yeah,
which becomes new friends.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I
yeah.
would have never found Barbara if I didn't volunteer at DSHP, you know. And she's actually my cousin-in-law. Her husband is my cousin, second cousin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Look what you find out when you listen to the
And
DSH.
we had no idea for years.
So
no,
the dentist you mentioned in the beginning is Judy's cousin.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So actually that, and then I also like the growth of the future pharmacist. What we, Barbara and I went to school for and what the future pharmacist goes for. I
Mm,
believe all our wisdom from the days we went to school can be they're mentoring because it's not just counting pills anymore. That's what we went
yeah.
through, counting pills by 5, consultation, and even more pharmacist specific clinical careers have blossomed and
Yeah.
evolved since we
Yeah.
both went to pharmacy school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then what is special about DSHP is we have a pharmacy school that's close by that we can mentor, and that's Toro,
Sure.
and that's
Yeah.
where you graduated from.
Yeah. That's my alma mater.
So that's what I like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just like me, Judy, you're a social bee. That's actually my favorite thing. That's actually my favorite part of being involved with the SSB is meeting you guys, meeting Judy, meeting Barbara, meeting everyone I meet at the dinners, everyone I get to work with when we're planning our fun night out with industry, the community outreach that we do, and the events at the park, the dinners that we learn so much from. You just get to meet people, and these people become your friends, and they could become your future employers too, whether you're looking for a residency or a job. Um, so I think, in my opinion, these are reason enough to join DSHP and CSHP and be involved in your local pharmacy chapter as a pharmacist in a way to give back, right? So let's just do one more question. And because we're doing this podcast um, to increase membership, drive membership, like Barbara once did back in the days. Besides what you've said, the last question is, what advice do you have for any pharmacist or pharmacy technician, pharmacy student, pharmacy intern listening now, who's wondering, how do I get involved? How do I become a DSHP member? How do I get involved? And what's in it for me? It's a long question. It's a two-part question. Why should they join? And what advice do you have for them in terms of how to join? Barbara, you go first.
Um, why? Camaraderie. You meet people from all over our catchment area in all different kinds of jobs. You get exposure to pharmaceutical reps
Yeah.
who have a whole other perspective,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
more commercial, but still nevertheless very important because they're
Yeah.
who I turn to for
Yeah.
any questions that come up regarding clinical matters.
Yeah.
Uh,
Judy, what
Oh,
advice?
my turn, Barbara.
Judy,
Yeah.
Okay.
Judy's
go
turn.
ahead, Judy.
Okay, so the most important thing is you gotta have the time. If you start out in pharmacy school volunteering for the community service projects that the school has, that's a good beginning.
Yeah.
And if you want to continue that once you graduate and get your license, then that's where you would come to the Diablo chapter or any regional local chapters to get involved. But we know working gets in the way, so you want to make sure you have the time. Okay, just
Okay.
don't volunteer because you want it as a mark on your resume or to add
Yeah.
it to your resume. When you want to volunteer, you want to have the time so that you can put the passion behind it, like you did when you were in school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
start small. It could be anything like a committee, night out with industry.
Yeah.
Start on that committee. Don't head it. Just say, I want to help you with the food. I want to help you decorate. That's a small beginning, a segue.
True.
Come to the dinners instead of just sitting and just talking to the person across from you or next to you. Come
Yeah.
out of your comfort zone. Talk to others that you're not familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's networking.
Absolutely.
And then as you start getting involved and you know a few more people on the board, then they can help you be a mentor and redirect you to other groups, organizations, or activities that you're interested in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's my suggestion to anybody that wants to be involved. Start small, find a mentor to help you progress, and then you can see where you go from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like how you mentioned the possibility of doing it even as a student with the CSHP school chapter, right? Because that's an opportunity. But you also mentioned starting small because you, as a student, your education is your priority. You want to be able that you make sure you get good grades and you do well with that. And then when you're ready, you start small because people tend to think that it's this huge commitment, but you can definitely start small and grow from there. It was a pleasure having you guys on to talk about your journeys. Wish we could talk about 2 hours just to go over everything, but we just wanted to have a little snapshot of what you guys have gone through, why you got into pharmacy, why you got into DSHP, and why you think other people should get into DSHP as well. And in summary, I think you need to give back to your profession because the profession is working hard to give back to us, to advance the profession. You build connections, you build friendship, relationships, and possible even employment opportunities in the future. And you build leadership skills, you build planning skills, all kinds of things that can help you grow in your career. So I thank you ladies for coming on and sharing your stories with us. And to anyone listening, if you're not yet subscribed to the DSHP YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when we have more stories like these. And until the next one, you guys stay blessed and have a great week. Bye.
Bye.